You are listening to your number one station, RX Radio. Are you doing all right today? I would hope you are. It is Friday after all, so now you can think about all the fun things you're going to do over the weekend. I'm guessing you're going to be spending your time watching a favorite movie. I've been meaning to watch Avatar, and I've just failed to find the time to do it.
You haven't.
You watched Avatar?
I eventually watched it.
In the theater?
Yes.
And was it nice?
I loved it. The first part, it's 3 hours to begin with.
Oh, gosh.
But isn't that the fun?
Oh, no.
Because the first one was 2 hours and almost 3 minutes. But this one is, almost 3 hours. But this one is
actually 3 hours.
Yes.
Is it better than the first?
The end.
Okay, so because everyone that I take seriously in film critiquing says that visually it's spectacular, like everything looks amazing.
Yes,
but that the story was a bit weak. But I guess I'll have to,
especially in the first hour, because they I don't want to spoil for you.
Then don't stop.
I'm not gonna spoil for you, but they were building something new, and I think for us to catch up, it took some time. It was lagging, to say the least. But then it gets very interesting.
I wonder when it will appear in the usual places where we can just sort of get a hard drive.
Are you sure it's not there yet?
I don't think so.
But why would you? And it's, by the way, you and Daniel O'Mara made me watch Avatar because I hadn't even watched.
Oh, really?
Yes, I hadn't even watched the first one.
Wow.
So one time you asked me if I had watched it, and I'm like, no. And you're like, how can you not have watched?
So I challenged you. So you mean you were challenged by me and Daniel to watch it, and so you went and watched it.
So I went home and watched the first one because I knew the second one is coming.
Okay.
And now I'm going to pose a question to you. Why would you want to watch such a movie on a small screen?
That's a very good point.
Go to the theater.
That's a very good point. And it seems to be the kind of film that's best enjoyed in large screen.
That's true.
In a theater.
That's true.
Well, speaking of theater and drama, let's now turn our attention to what's happening in Scotland, where a transgender double rapist is going to be transferred out of a woman's prison. And you might be wondering, wait, transgender double rapist, what's that?
What's that?
Well, this is a transgender person who was found guilty of committing rape on 2 counts to 2 different victims. And at the time that the rapes were committed, the person was a male, a properly functioning male with all of the organs intact. He went and raped some ladies. And then after being convicted, he began his process of transition.
So oh, wow. So he was actually a straight person, because if you're a man and you rape women, you're straight.
Yeah. And so now what's happening is that he's being moved out of the women's prison, and they're transferring him to the male section. And you're not going to believe this, but the activists are outraged that this is unfair.
No, it is fair.
And in the irony of ironies, they say, he is now at risk, or rather, she is now at risk of being raped.
Come
in
on.
the male prison.
Was he serving flowers to the women he raped before he decided to transition?
So a rapist is worried about getting raped himself.
We are not going to sit down here and say that people should just violate others because there is an option of transitioning into another gender. That's not how it works.
It seems, at least to me, it seems like he is playing the transition card as a way of avoiding getting the full penalty for his crimes.
Because he knows that there are people out there with the appetite to defend him.
Yeah, he knows that the popular culture, Western media, the activist class are all going to get behind him.
So the activists, when they say that she is now at the risk of being raped, what happens? So how do the other ladies get justice? The women that this she person raped when he was still a he.
I mean, that's just that's why this whole thing is theater and drama. It's so confusing.
It's more like some gay people's rights matter more than the rights of straight people.
That's what it seems like. But this is what. Are you surprised that it has come to this? Because we've sort of fostered this idea that you can swap, like gender is just like clothes. You can wear one today and wear another tomorrow. In the blink of an eye. You can be a man today and a woman tomorrow, and a woman tomorrow and a man yesterday. And it's just turned into a game. So certain people are taking advantage of this situation. Predators now will identify as the opposite gender so that they might have easier access to their victims. I would think that we should just put a stop to this. If anyone, for me, like if I were like in charge of the whole universe, do you know how I'd handle it? If people were coming forward saying, oh, I feel like I'm a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body, I'll just say, yeah, okay, so what? That's not my problem. Just learn to accept your life the way that you are and live accordingly. Not everyone feels comfortable with who they are. Some people feel like maybe they're too fat, maybe they're too tall, too short, too thin. A lot of men are well endowed, others are under endowed. You kind of just live with the cards you've been dealt, because not everything in life is about just, how can I say, switching things up from one stage to another. You kind of just have to...
Just because you don't feel comfortable.
Just because you don't feel comfortable.
I mean, I've always wanted to be tiny, to have those very tiny waists. I don't have them, so should I kill myself?
No, you shouldn't. Although, okay, so something like weight, that is something that can be controlled.
It can be, but some people have underlying issues that are actually render them unable to lose weight to a certain degree.
I find that hard to believe because obviously I live by example.
No, you live by example, but haven't you heard medics saying that some people are on drugs, treating some terminal conditions, and the drugs affect them in terms of, they put on weight sometimes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because I've heard it being said about obesity in children, that sometimes they're dealing with issues that are making them that big, not because of what they're eating.
Mm-hmm. Well, I took my daughter for vaccination the other day, and the nurses were like, because we went back to the hospital that delivered her. They're like, my God, she's so huge. What are you feeding her? And I was like, is this girl going to be a fat kid now?
No, breast milk actually makes children fat, but in a nice way. No, that is nice fatness. Actually, if your child is not adding weight, you should be concerned, because babies are supposed to add weight. Every time you go back for vaccination, they should have more kilos within a given limit. That chart they give you has their growth.
Okay.
So you can monitor.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you. I didn't know that.
I'm sure the mom knows.
So, for our friends in Scotland, you know what? You kind of created this problem by just sort of accepting the premise that gender can just be interchanged. And so now you're going to have all the freaks coming out claiming to be trans just so that they can escape justice. And this is what you get.
But I have a suggestion. If now that gender transitioning is part of us and probably it's here to stay, why don't we just start having maybe prisons for transgender people? And even the issue of bathrooms that has been in the news for so long, we can just have a trans bathroom. Like, I enter the section for women, and there is, how there is always a sign of people with disabilities.
I understand that, but I don't think trans people want that, because
they want inclusion, apparently.
No. Actually, what they want is, their unstated goal is subversion, cultural subversion and social subversion. Because the very idea that you want to be accepted for who you are and do all this stuff is because you're a bit of a narcissist. And so you're looking for attention. And so you're going to do things hoping to annoy people or to shock society. And so if you are given, like let's say, how trans athletes are also being told, have your own category instead of, let's say, compete with women, because
you are really naturally a man.
A man, right? But the reason they don't want that is because then they don't get to stand out. But by being competing with women as a trans woman, they get to create controversy and all that kind of stuff. So similarly, they wouldn't want to be given toilet facilities that are kind of for them. They definitely want to enter into women's restrooms so that they can create some drama and get some attention and score some victim points. This is all about victim points.
But you see, the thing about bathrooms is that not all trans people have even gone into sex reassignment. Most of them haven't. So you are here with breasts and maybe hair that looks like mine, but then you're under things for a man. So how comfortable am I to share a bathroom with someone that has another something that is for the other gender. We send our daughters to these bathrooms.